The federal government is headed for a partial shutdown this Friday as lawmakers battle over funding for President Trump's immigration enforcement agenda following Saturday's second deadly shooting by ICE officials in Minneapolis. A growing number of Democratic senators are warning they will not vote for a $1.2 trillion federal funding package if it includes money for the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration enforcement. Joining us now, one of those senators, Democrat Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. She's a member of the Senate Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committees and is also an Iraq War veteran and recipient of the Purple Heart. It is good to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, Senator.
Understand what's at stake with the potential shutdown here moving forward, but DHS was funded in the last budget in a huge way and certainly won't be for a lack of money anytime soon. What is the point of this potential shutdown and holding strong on that? Is there anything that can be done about the massive amount of money that has already been approved for DHS?
Well, the problem we have is that even in the big, beautiful bill, Trump's big, beautiful bill, they gave ICE and CPB a $70 billion slush fund to play with. What we're asking for is for Leader Thune to break out the DHS budget. Let us pass the rest of the bill. Let us pass the rest of the bill, and then let's go to the let's go and sit down and work on putting some restraints on ICE. You know, I have my Police Accountability and Independent Review Act, which says anytime ICE is involved in a shooting, there should be an independent review, transparent. We need to put guardrails around ICE, and that's all Democrats are asking for. So Republicans to be responsible about how ICE operates in our nation's cities, whether that's a blue city or red city.
Yeah, Senator, yesterday, 10 Republicans, I think we counted, came out strongly, especially people like Rand Paul, who, of course, runs the pertinent committee here, but came out strongly saying there needed to be an investigation into the shootings. I'm curious, is there a chance to work with the Republicans and Democrats? Is there a chance to get a bipartisan agreement on this, since we have Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Crapo, Curtis, McCormick, Moran, Murkowski, Ricketts, Tillis, and Young, all calling for an investigation. Is there an opportunity here for peace to break out, for there to be a bipartisan deal?
There very much is an opportunity for that, but it's up to the Republican leadership to decide that, right? These 10 Republican colleagues of mine need to go to their leader, Leader Thune, and say, hey, break out the DHS funding package. We'll pass the rest of it, and then we'll negotiate with the Democrats. Put together a team of people to negotiate. We on the Democratic side have put together our list of what we would like to see to put some restraints on ICE. And then we can come to an agreement. But it's up to them to decide whether or not they want to negotiate and make this bipartisan.
Senator, good morning. We just showed that list of senators, Republicans who have spoken out. We're hearing from some members of the House, including the chair, a Republican chair from out on Long Island of the House Homeland Security Committee, saying the leaders of these organizations need to come and testify about what's going on after the shooting death now of Alex Preddy. Can you speak to behind the scenes what you've been hearing from your Republican colleagues that's now spilled out into the public, which is their frustration in some cases, disgust in others with what's been happening in Minneapolis?
Well, from a very few of them, I've heard some disgust, but they are very much tentative. They are scared of retribution from the White House. Many of them have seen their colleagues see retribution, and they're very much afraid of that. But, what I say to them is, you're supposed to love this country first. You're supposed to love our Constitution first. We're supposed to be defending our Constitution, not whoever is sitting in the White House, and ICE needs to be reined in. And I think they're finally seeing that. But I got to be honest with you, when I talked to a few of my colleagues, they had not even seen the videos. It's almost like they put blinders on. They're uneasy. They haven't even seen the videos. The Democrats, we've all watched every single video from every single angle.
Yeah, that is hard to believe. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Jeff Mason, the one issue I have heard from some people in the White House for some time that they thought they could get a bipartisan deal out of eventually was on the issue of immigration. It always seemed like a pipe dream. It doesn't so much now. What would that look like? It seems to me we can't even get a straight version of events coming out of Minnesota on whether Minnesota officials actually cooperate with the federal government in getting convicts who are illegal immigrants into the hands of the DHS. Tim Walz today has an op-ed saying they do it. Republicans say, yeah, he doesn't do it. But is there an opportunity for some bipartisan deal on immigration reform? And what does that look like?
You know, Joe, I think it depends on a couple things. Number one, it depends on how real this recalibration is. Jonathan and I were talking earlier in the break about the fact that the president may be shifting a little bit because of the optics, but the basics of his policies are still the core of the promises that he made as a candidate. So if any of that shifts, maybe that would create some room. Another factor is just whether or not Democrats feel any reason right now to cooperate with the Republicans. And I think the fact that they're open to another government shutdown suggests that they don't see a lot of room for that because of what's happened in the last few weeks. You know, I remember back to Trump 1.0, the president at one point said that he was open to a deal for Dreamers. That's something that Democrats have wanted for years, dating back, of course, to the Obama administration. If something like that were to come back on the table and there was some kind of a way for them to find compromise and give Democrats a win on that, that could be part of something that would create an incentive for them to work with Republicans. But if you look at everything we've been talking about and what's going on in Minnesota and the pressure and now the political weakness, frankly, that the Republicans are going to be coming into the midterms with because of this, I'm just not sure there's an incentive for Democrats to come up with a deal. And I'm not sure that Republicans are going to give them anything that they would want.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're looking at the possibility again, a Dreamers deal, E-Verify on the other side. There could be outlines of an immigration deal, but as Jeff said, right now, chances are good. It's again still too early. I don't know that the two sides would agree to even come together and talk about it.
We'll follow.